For a time, we tried to contact him by radio, but no response.
This podcast is brought to you by the Dunmarks Podcast. Gentlemen, episode 45 of the Dunmarks Podcast. Welcome into your favorite Saturday brunch bunch. Chris with the inside joke. Jason might walk off the set.
I approve none of this.
If you didn't realize, and you aren't a wrestling fan, you can tell by the logos. It is NWO week, so that was an homage to the old NWO promos here that used to be cut back on WCW Nitro, and Jason is the biggest NWO fan of all time.
I loved watching his facial expressions the whole time while that video was on.
It's hilarious. What a troll. You trolled Donald last week. Donald, the movie premiere was a success. People were liking it. They were sharing it. We were getting feedback. It was a big hit.
Fuck y'all still. I just wanted a real trailer, damn it.
So again, welcome in your favorite Saturday brunch bunch. Gentlemen, how's everybody doing? Everybody good, energetic, ready to pod today?
Doing good today.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
They say nothing is stronger than family, and there may be no family stronger than the Toretto family. Because Fast and the Furious 9, huge box office hit. First movie since the pandemic to gross over $500 million worldwide. I'm sure Black Widow will be the second one since that came out in theaters yesterday. I believe over $125 million U.S. domestically. So huge success. Obviously, that franchise is still alive and kicking. Is that the most successful franchise?
I thought Star Wars was
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I'm just for longevity and number of movies alone. And there may be maybe Fast and Furious 2 was kind of trash, but other than that, majority of the Fast and Furious movies have been decent to good movies. You haven't really walked out oh, that was garbage, and they just strictly did that for a money grab.
I think Harry Potter and Fast and Furious might be tied right now for amount of movies.
Really?
Is what we did. It's work.
Oh,
this was Fast 9, and then they did that spin-off last year or 2 years ago with The Rock.
Hobbs and Shaw, and that did really well too.
So they did. So that's 10. Harry Potter, I think, did 8 movies, and they had 2 spin-off movies. So I think they're tied right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, about to see who brought in more money.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know if I'll catch it in theaters or wait till afterwards. And
I'll probably wait for Peacock
down the road. But yeah. So shout out to them boys there.
So they were suggesting there were rumors that they wanted to do a Jurassic Park and Fast crossover.
I did see that.
And then that sparked Tyrese to say, "How about a Transformers crossover?"
So what is he going to be? 2 characters at once in one movie?
Hey.
At least Transformers would make more sense with cars.
It would.
Speaking of Transformers, did you see the tease trailer that came out for what was it, Battle of Cybertron or whatever it's called?
Mm-mm.
It looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Cartoon or movie?
Movie. The movie that they're making.
Okay. Well, I thought they were going to be.
They're getting away from the trash Michael Bay bullshit that he was putting out towards the end, but this is the war for Cybertron, and it's going to get Beast Wars, so get all that. It looked pretty dope. Not gonna lie, I still watch them when they come on TV. Just something about them. I was a huge Transformers guy growing up, so
as long as Optimus Prime dies, I'm okay. hate that
Tell
movie.
you.
It's bad.
Negative Nancy.
Oh! Don't even start guy who killed off Mufasa.
Me?
Yeah, you.
That was all one gotta go. Like it's completely different situation. Like when Mufasa died in the movie, it pulled on the heartstrings. You know what I mean? It's like when Littlefoot's mother died in Land Before Time. Like it pulled on the heartstrings as a kid. But on one gotta go. Yeah, Mufasa he had to get him out of here. Like, what about that? So, but yeah, no. With that being said, and since I already kicked off the intro with the Fast and the Furious money bag there, what do you guys want to get into intro wise?
Continue with TV movies.
TV movies, we can hop into that if you want. The only thing that I saw that caught my eye this week, and I am where's it at here? CNN is doing a history of sitcoms tomorrow night at 9:00. So I was a huge sitcom guy growing up. Watched a ton of sitcoms with my grandma, and it just brought me back to that feel. But the commercial, the promo that they were running, it was pretty sweet because they were singing different intro themes to the sitcoms, and it was like, when's the last time you remembered an intro theme to a sitcom? Like, what was the last one that you remember where it was like instantaneous? This is a good intro sitcom theme. It's been a while, right? Like,
Yeah.
Um,
For me, I'll say Married with Children because I don't watch that many sitcoms. So
yeah.
Oh, what, recently?
yeah, recently. I mean,
What new one?
I don't even think, do they even have any intros anymore?
Yeah,
that's what
rare.
I'm saying. So like you got to go back to like maybe like Friends and like
Yeah.
Seinfeld,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I mean, like that.
Cheers.
Yeah, but that's like way back.
That's 80s.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'll check that out. If I don't check it out live, I'll definitely DVR it to watch it at some point in time during the week. But
I heard about that. On the commercial, did they say anything if it's just a one night thing or is it in multiple parts? Do you know?
they did not say if it was going to be like a mini series or if it was just a one night event type deal. So
Because they had just done History of Late Night, and I know that was like a 4 or 5 part show, so I wasn't sure with this one. But I do want to check it out. I wish HBO Max added this stuff because that's part of the HBO is part of CNN and all that, and they don't add that stuff. I wish they would.
Does Fuller House count?
I'd put that as the original.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
It was like that, like straight to Netflix and things. They have intros, but
Yeah.
TV, no.
but do you even consider those like sitcoms though that are on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of those have more laugh tracks than like the traditional ones they have on TV now.
Yeah, but I mean, like in our prime, I mean, you had, like you said, Married with Children, you had Full House, you had
Step by Step,
Step by Step, Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin.
Cool, man.
I mean, you had all those. Like, it's interesting, like when you look back, like how TV's changed over just our lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, but I still go back on all the old school channels and rewatch all that stuff.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I remember when Kendall was like 4 or 5 years old, she knew everywhere to Mama's Family theme. We'd sit down, watch Mama's Family, like, and she'd sing the intro. So
George Lopez at 2 a.m.
I didn't do George Lopez. Never got into that one.
It was just an intro. Like every time I woke up at night, that thing was on. I didn't really watch it though.
I didn't watch George Lopez too much whenever it was on, but when they launched Peacock last year, I binged that. It was a decent sitcom.
But yeah, that's all that caught my eye. TV movie wise was Fast and Furious, and then this CNN History of Sitcoms doc tomorrow night. So
I had go ahead, Jason.
There's a Kurt Warner movie coming out starring Zachary Levi as Kurt Warner. So look out for that.
And The Last of Us TV show, they said they're going to have 10 episodes. So perfect fit for HBO Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Richard Donner passed away this week. If you guys know him, he was the director and producer of Superman 1 and 2, The Goonies, and all 4 Lethal Weapons. unfortunately, it looks like there's been talk, especially since the Lethal Weapon TV series ended a couple years ago. It looks like they were talking about doing a 5th Lethal Weapon movie with the original cast. That looks like that might be completely scrapped now because of his passing. Let's see, Comic-Con, that'll be at home again this year. They're not going to be doing in person. It's going to be Friday, July 23rd through Sunday, July 25th. It'll be all on YouTube. All the panels have been announced, so you can go check that out and see all the list of panels for each day. And then, again, this year, DC is not going to be a part of Comic-Con. They're going to do their own thing of DC Fandom, and that's going to run again on Saturday, October 16th.
Okay. Did they have their lineup out, or they just did the date?
Nothing on DC yet.
Okay.
Just the date.
All right. Anybody got any snacks? Any Fat Kid items coming off of the one gotta go ice cream edition from last week?
Yeah, a couple that I saw this week were Carnation Instant Breakfast. They're coming out with like a cereal milk line. So they have Fruit Loops and Crave cereal are already out. You can buy those, and then Frosted Flakes is supposed to be coming soon.
I was at Walmart and almost bought the Fruit Loop one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they? So is it just you buy it and it's just Fruit Loops, or is it like a variety pack type thing?
Two separate. Fruit Loop has its own, and Crave has its own.
Okay. And then Oreo announced two new flavors this week for the fall. One is salted caramel brownie, and the other is apple cider donut.
Yeah, I'll check out the apple cider donuts. I'll pass on the salted caramel brownie just because I'm not a big salted caramel guy.
And it has that there's going to be salt on the cookie, and that doesn't interest me at all.
That's a hard pass for me. You brought up the cereal stuff with the Carnation and Crave. I picked up a box of Lucky Charms oatmeal.
Okay.
They have that Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I forget what was the other one. The Lucky Charms oatmeal.
Chocolate something.
It was like it was literally like eating Lucky Charms, but only it was hot cereal instead of cold.
Do they give you the marshmallows too?
Yep, marshmallows are separate to add in. After you heat up the oatmeal. But yeah, it tastes just like you're eating Lucky Charms, only it's hot instead of cold. So
it's different.
If you like hot cereal instead of cold cereal, that you're a huge fan of Lucky Charms, I would suggest going out and copping a box of that. Definitely just mad sugar, though.
Cereal is anyway.
That is not healthy oatmeal. So yeah, not at all. All right. Anybody got anything else? Anything exciting during the week happen to anybody? No.
Physical therapy on my toe now. So yeah, that's
I heard you went to the doctors and got 2 toes up, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, so I'm good to go. I just have to do a week's worth of physical therapy, and I'll be back at work soon. So
it's good.
Fun time. Yeah, no joke with the physical therapy. Shoot, I'd rather cut my toe off than deal with them. Man,
which one you at?
Home. That's where I'm at.
Home.
They gave me they gave me homework to do. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that being said, if nobody got nothing else, let's hop into the shits and giggles because we got a lot of stuff to run through with sports, bell to bell, and everything else this week that we typically cover. Thanks for hopping on and enjoying the show, and let's get into the rest of the episode. All right, bell to bell this week. As you can see down there with the person below me, negative Nancy, not P squared and N squared are for positive Pete and negative Ned. So I sent over my list of topics, pulling back the curtain, giving you guys insight to pre-production, which we really don't have on the show. It's just sending out group text messages of topics that we want to cover each week.
Wing it on here.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like this week I'm going to build you up and I'm going to tear you down. We're gonna keep it that simple. No compliment sandwich. I'm not bringing Family Guy where we got bun, meat, bun. Like we're not doing that. It's either gonna be thumbs up, thumbs down, from stuff. So who wants to go first? If nobody wants to go first, I can kick it off and start it off at the beginning of the week with Raw. If nobody wants to take a dive off the board here.
I think that's the best place to start is the beginning.
All right, so
we can go to Tuesday.
So with Raw, the positive Pete side of things is Matt Riddle.
Yeah,
he's been MVP of Raw this year, and this whole storyline with Randy Orton, everything he's done, he's been super entertaining, really good. I kind of don't want it to end with a turn either way, like with him and Orton. I don't know how to get away from it, but it's just he's been MVP. He's been enjoyable every segment that he's been in for literally this entire run with Orton, and even before that. So like I'm really enjoying his stuff. The negative, I don't want to harp on everything that was negative because that just defeats the purpose of shitting on something that's been terrible for a long time now. But the two biggest things that I saw that were really bad, the Charlotte and Rhea Ripley segment was just god awful,
terrible.
I have no idea who booked that, who decided that that's the best way to go. This like Rhea like trolling Charlotte, you have no idea who's the heel, who's the face. None of it's any good. Charlotte, for as hot as she was whenever she came back and cut the modern era pipe bomb, it hasn't worked at all for that character and what she's done. It was just trash. The whole segment was garbage. They both came out on crutches, faking injuries. Then they kicked the crutch out from each other. Then they played tug of war over the crutch, and it was just god awful. Just so.
I agree.
Mind blowing. And then the other thing that kind of made me glad that I didn't turn on my TV to Raw on Monday night, because I think if I would have heard this live, I might have thrown my remote through my television. Drew McIntyre giving his Scottish promo history lesson again. The sword that he walks out to the ring with, that he sticks into the stage that raises fire each and every single time he comes out. That is made from the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster.
He was trolling you guys. He did it with a smile on his face. He was trolling you guys.
You can't.
Instead of Loch Ness Monster, you can't find. You actually yanked the tooth out and made a sword.
You cannot bring out your Nikki Ash almost superhero, which is very creative and very clever, by the way. You cannot bring out that cape and defend that. Oh, this was him trolling us. This was a legitimate writer sitting in a writing room and saying, "Oh, I know what we'll add to this promo. I know what will get Drew over to the next level."
No, that was not about getting over.
The sword is made from the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster.
They know people are over it. And they dug in.
Vince and Bruce are high-fiving. Yeah, that'll do it. That's such good shit. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Johnny Ace is, hey, that's a good idea, boys. Yeah,
it was good shit when he said the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster. I knew he was trolling. That was good shit. Now, he went forever with it, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with it.
I now need to see a video of Drew going in and getting the Loch Ness Monster out, like basically hitting him like Hulk did with Loki in the first Avengers.
And then, so he cuts that promo, and we get a match with him and Jinder Mahal. And what better way to set off a feud than I'm going to steal the guy's sword? I'm going to steal Nessie's tooth, and I'm going to run away with it. The fuck are we doing on Raw? Look,
Jinder's not worthy.
My blood pressure's rising already. We're 20 minutes into the show. What are we doing?
You got McIntyre back into his original role. You don't want him in the main event anymore?
What are you talking about? He's in Money in the Bank, and he's the odds-on favorite to win Money in the Bank next week.
So, Heath Slater, that returns any minute now?
Is he still cleared?
I can't with Raw. Like, I can't. I don't even like. That's
why I stopped. It's just
until they do something completely different, I canceled it out.
And this whole thing of Vince is just waiting until fans come back, and then all of a sudden it's going to change and it's going to be great television.
It's not.
Like, I just don't see how they're going to be able to pull that rabbit out of their ass.
It was bad when fans were still there.
See,
it's been bad for a while.
You're letting wrestling get to you. That's the bad part.
No, I
watch AEW straight through without a reaction. I'm not pissed. I'm not happy. I'll just watch it
because
y'all let wrestling get to you.
Because when you
let it boil your blood.
When you have something that used to be must-see television each and every single week for the prime time of our years growing up.
Must-see segments.
Must-see television.
Must-see segments.
Raw was a must-watch every single Monday.
Segments. Nothing was legit. Now you be like, I watched this shit. Watch it straight through.
Yeah.
You'll be like, I watched this shit. No, you stayed for Stone Cold. You stayed for The Rock. You stayed for Taker. You stayed for people. Segments.
The cliff dive that it has taken over the last 3 to 4 years has been just utterly. I don't even know the adjective to describe it. They had 1.4 million viewers on Monday night. It was the lowest rated show in history. And this is going into not only the Raw Before Go Home show, but your last Raw in the Thunderdome before you get fans back in the stands. And you expect people to come back in droves to watch your product every single week live?
Didn't you say there are no more Go Home shows? You might worried about Go Home shows.
There are. They just don't treat them like Go Home shows anymore.
But that was Monday. So that's my positive Pete, my negative Ned from Monday night.
More negative than positive. Shit.
He said he was going to build up. He said he was going to build up and tear down. So
working the gimmick. Got to work the gimmick, brother.
You got to give me balance. 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Not 1 for 3.
Listen,
this is not fair and balanced.
1 for the whole damn show.
Hey, if you look at the scales of Lady Justice, they're not. Just saying.
They do it to themselves. That's all.
Tuesday and Wednesday. We can get into highlights and lowlights from each show, but I looked at it more as a special versus a special. So you had Great American Bash Tuesday night, you had Road Rager Wednesday night, NXT, AEW. I wasn't doing it because of the fan-made Wednesday Night Wars, but I was just looking at it as from a fan that watched both shows for a special against a special, which one I enjoyed more. I enjoyed AEW more, and my negatives will lead into why that is from NXT. But we can go around and hit the highs and lows from everybody from each of those nights here, and then move forward. So, who wants to give their takes from Tuesday night first?
My 2 highs from NXT was the men's tag team and Cole and O'Reilly. My 2 lows were the women's tag, and I got an awful lot of shit about that, and the Hit Row segment.
Okay.
I was cool with the Cypher. They just went on too long with it.
With what? Oh, the Hit Row stuff?
Yeah. The initial Cypher, when they start walking out to the ring, that was too much. Going into the Hit Row song, you could have put another match on or something.
To me, it felt like people we knew in high school who's trying to get a record deal still at the age of 40. That's what it sounded like. And the crowd really showed it too.
Well, the crowd was one thing. And that's not the type of that type of crowd I don't think would truly gets and appreciates that faction for what they are. Just based off of the reactions that they've gotten since they formed and come out. But like I say, with
because that's supposed to be a lot of friends and family and talent in that crowd, and if they're not helping to put it over, that's a shame.
Like I say with AEW, I'm gonna give you a hand clap, and I'm gonna build you up and be positive, Pete, for the fact that you did something different. Having a Cypher as your championship celebration is something different. Haven't seen it before. Outside the box thinking. You're letting talent be talent, and Swerve. He actually has music out and albums out, and
And they all were decent. This wasn't like Johnny Drip Drip.
Yeah, no.
They
They can rap. They got some bars. There were some good liners in there. The single that Swerve and I forget the guy's name that hosts his podcast with him, Swerve City, on the network, but them two put out a single and it was already over, I forget, 200 some thousand streams or whatever. So like they have an audience for their music. This isn't something that's just, oh, we're wrestlers being rappers. Like, no, these dudes really do rap on, you know what I mean? So like, hey, run with it and see where it goes. Like I said, I don't know how much mileage you can get out of it, but for them doing something different, I'll give you an applause and a hand clap for that.
I'm okay with them doing something different, but it just doesn't connect with me whatsoever. Swerve stuff, I'm okay with Swerve in the ring and all that stuff. Everything else, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need it at all.
I'd be okay if they just did this for his run. You know, once his title runs over, then maybe move on to something different with him.
Donald, to your other point, the bad with the women's tag match, the ending, the re-debut of Knox, not Tegan Knox, just Knox. We'll get into that from last night. To, you know, her debut, the title change, to not letting the champs get their shine after winning the belt. It just
a lot of stuff.
It was all big swing and a miss for me with that.
That's what for me was the ending.
And here we are 4 months into women's championship, and what are we doing? We're still playing hot potato with the belt.
4 months.
Nobody's yet to have a legitimate run with these things. They keep changing titles.
I was okay with Candice and Indy having the belts for a bit. I didn't know why they took it off of them and threw a belt right back on Io. It was like,
and I don't know if this is a way, because not only is Zoe Starr getting the rub from Io because she's partnering with her, but she also has the belt. And you know, either they say either the talent makes the championship or the championship makes the talent. So maybe having a belt and getting the rub with Io, they're looking to get a bump and elevate elevate Zoe. But I didn't like it. I didn't think it was necessary, and just it was what it was.
Could just be putting the title on Io before they put her up on the main roster. I think that's probably.
Well, then I don't think Io's going to go up based off of what they done last night on SmackDown.
I don't think she's going up right away, but I'm sure maybe like Rumble time.
But now I think you have a bigger name holding the belt. So,
but in another month, you're gonna take it off of them.
Yeah,
you don't know.
So, all right, who wants to give their next highs and lows?
Mine was I enjoyed the women's. I just didn't like the ending, and Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, and I'm interested to see. I like they announced all the competitors for what is the new tournament?
That breakout.
Yeah, breakout. Yeah, I see a couple guys in there that look interesting.
Yeah, so Carmelo Hayes, obviously, is one. Like I said last week, Desi Jones, because he had some dark matches, but to see him actually get some work on TV, I'm interested in, based off of his size and what he does athletically. Formerly Christian Blake in TNA is now Trey Baxter, I believe. He's somebody that I really liked what I saw out of him in Impact, so I'm excited to see what he does there. I think the worst thing of that was, what was his name? Brock Hudson or Duck Hudson, or what was the guy's name? Brock Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever his name was, he sounded like a Burt Reynolds character from Prison Nights.
Was that the last dude, the tall dude at the end?
He was. Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, it was either Brock Hudson or but yeah, he sounded like a 70s porn star. Like, what are we doing here with this man?
My lows were just the finishes to the women's and the finish to the men's tag.
All right.
Like I expected either a more convincing win from MSK to really put them over, or take the belts off them.
I really wish that NXT traveled and went on the road, because the fact that they get booed every single week for no reason, just I talked about that with people on the Twitter feed on Tuesday night, and like the majority of people on that Twitter timeline on Tuesday night have no idea why MSK is getting booed.
Yeah,
and it just befuddles me. Like,
do I want them with the belts? No, but are they entertaining tag? Yes, they are.
They are entertaining.
Yes, they are.
They are. They're in stuff. I like it. I like it a lot.
They just haven't done anything to warrant a boo.
No, not at all. They have not had one bad match since they debuted. Like,
that was probably it. Just their push. That's probably the only reason.
I mean, they haven't had one bad match. Their moveset is super creative and innovative.
Very creative.
I mean, Tuesday night you saw styles make fights. So you had ground and pound style with Thatcher and Chandler versus an aerial style with MSK,
and it worked.
And it worked, and it was solid. To me, that or Kyle O'Reilly and Cole was match of the night. And I mean, like, they were in there. Thatcher slapped the shit out of Wesley so hard I felt it through my television. And they went in there and did their thing. Like, they took bunts. They were stiff. They took punishment. They didn't look out of place with Chamber and Thatcher. They got their shit in just like Chamber and Thatcher did. It was a great match. Like, they don't warrant to be booed, and I have no idea why that crowd does it to them.
Yeah.
It's just that CWC crowd. They're interesting.
It's terrible. I want them to go back to Full Sail.
Yeah, and I don't think. Last I heard, Triple H said they're still going to be in the CWC for a bit.
All right, Chris, what do you got? Highs and lows from Tuesday night?
I hardly even watch. I just watched highlights. So
hey, good job. Way to come prepared for the show.
It's part of my whole thing of giving up WWE for a bit. NXT counts on that.
So my highs and lows, the bookends of the show, obviously, which we touched on already, the tag team in the main event. Everything else was pretty solid. I wish they would have showed Indy getting carried out by Dexter Lumis instead of making that an exclusive, because fans were popping for that on the timeline. Index is back together, so
she put him in the finisher.
Yeah, he went over, scooped her out, carried her out the ring. Damsel in distress coming in for the save. So I enjoyed the Cross Gargano segment. Cross is probably Cross's best promo since he's been on the mic. Johnny with the great one-liner at the end with the zing. It's funny how you mentioned my wife's pants when you can't lace her boots. Was another good line. My negative, and this is a negative that I've been harping on for a while now with NXT, Vic Joseph is god awful terrible. He just
a lot of that on social media.
Shouts words and to like fake excitement that like to make you supposed to be excited and invested, but it's just him shouting random words. He adds nothing from a commentary perspective to a match, does nothing from a storytelling standpoint, and he literally takes you out of the matches. There were times during both the tag team title match and the main event where like he took me out of my suspension of disbelief in my engagement with the match because of how terrible he was.
See,
and
that's
not good.
He's perfect because I can't remember anything he says. I notice Wade and I'll notice Beth. I can't. He's perfect for me.
I mean, look who's training him. We've had this discussion.
I know, but it's not even that, because Cole, and this is more of a highlight to Pat McAfee, but I've enjoyed Cole since WrestleMania with Pat. I've liked Cole better with Pat than I did with Cole with Graves. Cole was actually having fun. Pat actually made him laugh live on air last night, which was pretty great. I forget the line that he said, but Cole actually broke and laughed for a hot second before he caught himself. But yeah, it's just he does nothing at all, and it hurts the product. It literally hurts the product, and people are starting to notice it, and people are starting to raise it up to where, they're going to have to do something here.
And they don't really have too much left to go because they've tried everybody in NXT.
I mean, as an alternative to Morrow, whatever his name was. Yeah, I'll take Vic Joseph.
No way.
I'm not hearing no rap.
Give me Morrow.
Windows, no Ushi Gabushis. None of that shit.
I miss Morrow on NXT.
Give me Morrow 7 days a week, twice on Sunday.
He annoyed the hell out of me.
But when
it was more him than the product. I don't notice Vic Joseph, so that's
they're head commentators on NXT. When you really look at them, like, who have you really enjoyed? I mean, Phillips and Graves were pretty good. Morrow, besides Morrow, because to me Morrow was perfect for that brand. But like back in the, Rich Bikini, who does some MLW now, back whenever he was there. Like I said, Phillips, Joseph, like they've ran through people there, and it's just not working. But that was my negative from this week, was him and how he hurt the product for me watching it based on what he was doing from a commentary standpoint. All right, anybody got anything else from NXT? Nope. Okay. Wednesday night, Road Rager, highs, lows. What do you guys want to get into?
My high was actually a promo.
Which one?
The one saying the replacements is on next.
You went with Shivani's sign off at the end of the show?
No, the commercial. More than pitch in the picture.
Fucking guy.
It might as well just jump into the elephant in the room. Cody Rhodes, is he friend or foe?
Already in the ring, QT Marshall.
Great job.
That happened on AEW yet?
Great job, Ranchers. They've done that. They've done that a couple times to start a show. But from what I remember, like both participants or both tag teams were already in the ring.
They did that here.
Yeah, they did that.
Whenever Private Party and Lucha Brothers were in the ring.
Yeah, that is right. They were both out already. Yeah.
Yeah, because they wanted to start fast.
I know people were. A lot of people were hating Cody on the timeline, but live fan reaction, he's still over. So we'll see how this goes with them back on the road. But yeah, so
I think people like to hate Cody, just to hate Cody. They think it's like the cool thing to do on social media,
like WWE.
The internet wrestling community. Well, there's reasons to hate WWE.
There's reasons to hate Cody Rhodes.
The internet wrestling community is putting him. They're putting him. And you could make the argument for or against here, but not to deep dive into Cody Rhodes because there's other stuff to talk about from the show that I thought was more important than this match. But he's being viewed as the Triple H of AEW.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can make the argument for or against, and we can have that argument at a different point in time on a different episode of this show.
That could be a whole show.
But yeah, so. We'll just leave it.
Cody Rhodes are the burial names.
The list is hilarious.
Who really expected QT to win that match, though?
Oh, I didn't expect QT to win, but
but the people that say Cody Rhodes doesn't put anybody over is crazy. He went out there, he let Brody destroy him to win the TNT title. Jungle Boy, he got over with their match. Orange Cassidy, he got over with their match. Darby, he got over with the TNT title, and he's going to be the first feud for Malachi Black, aka Tommy End, who debuted. And I really think that Tommy End, Malachi Black he's going to go over Cody in that feud.
You have to with him. You have to have him be Cody.
So this whole thing of the first ever episode of Dynamite, he wrestled Sammy Guevara, and look where Sammy's at. That match established Sammy as a big time player. So like,
I don't have a problem with Cody.
This whole narrative that he's just Triple H and he's just holding down RVD and everybody else from the era whenever Triple H was on top. Like I don't see it. Cody puts over who he needs to put over. QT is not somebody that needs to go over Cody Rhodes. So for everybody bashing Cody for beating QT in a strap match makes no sense to me. Like, why would you ever think that Cody went over?
I'm okay with him beating QT because QT's a bum as it is. So that's fine with me. It's just my whole issue with him is like, okay, fans are back for the first time. You're on the road and that stuff. Who's the first person got to show his face?
But is that Cody's fault, or is that whoever formatted the show to put him out first?
Isn't everybody an EVP around there?
Well, everybody is an EVP, but Tony Khan books and formats the show.
When Cody's music hit, honestly, I didn't even expect the match to start. I expected him to come out and cut a promo like he did whenever the pandemic started. I figured he did that whenever it started. He's gonna start it off with that. But
if I'm formatting that show, that's not the match that I would have started the show with. I can see why they did it to kind of strap match, stakes, get the crowd hot. But I wouldn't have done that to start the show.
Started with that tag match.
Some of the formatting issues, they had some formatting issues this week that didn't make sense. You had the back-to-back Inner Circle and Pinnacle segments, which didn't make sense.
Yeah, that was weird.
Their tag was my highlight.
Her tag match was really good. That six-man was really good.
Six-man?
Yeah.
So just to get back on Cody real quick, because the power went out in his match for a couple seconds.
Foreshadowing.
I was going to say, looking back now, was that just foreshadowing for it?
Oh,
okay.
I was okay with that when they said it was the hurricane outside. Make it believable. Which
believable, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, that was believable
because it was legit.
I mean, but that's minor details that pay attention. You know what I mean? Like, that's minor details where, like, throughout the course of the show, when you look back and go, "Oh, that makes total sense." Why then? You know what I mean? Like,
I watched it today, watching it back, and I already knew it premiered, so I knew going through that was,
that's what was coming. But when you were watching it live,
when you were watching it live,
and they're like, "Oh, the hurricane, this and that," like, issues. It made total sense as to why it was the way it was. So yeah, all right. Any other highs and lows for you, Donald?
No, that's about it. Everything else just ran its course with me. Consistent. There wasn't nothing high, nothing low. So I was okay with it.
No women's match was my low.
Well, they had the intergender match.
Plus, you have Britt's promo.
Yeah, Britt's promo, which I did not even pick up on the comment that she made whenever I watched it live.
I did not catch it.
You didn't catch it.
I did not catch him watching it live. I did not.
The Saudi Arabia one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Hey, for those of you that think Britt will leave AEW and go to WWE, no, not happening.
Yeah, everybody started like, "Oh, she's like shitting on WWE." I was like, "When did she shit on WWE?" Didn't even catch it.
Yeah. Again, Britt has not missed since she got hurt. Like, it's just one thing after the other, and she can be funny and she can be serious in her promo. She's gotten herself to where she's completely comfortable in who she is, and it's showing in everything she's doing. She can't miss. So yeah, but what else for you, Chris? Anything?
My high was my high last week. I really enjoyed the Omega Hangman Page segment this week. I love that they didn't touch. I love that they came out, like, you got the heroes welcome for Hangman, but he just missed them. Just like I want to see more of that.
Again, minor details.
You like edging?
What kind of edging are you talking about here? It's after dark topic.
But minor details here. They didn't say Hangman's name.
I love that.
So they went back and forth, didn't say it, and they let the crowd build him up and bring it out. Like, the crowd were the ones calling for Hangman. It wasn't them two bringing it up to subconsciously put it in the crowd's mind. Oh, this is who you should be chanting for. No, it was them going back and forth with he's and hims, and then the crowd started with cowboy shit, and then the crowd started with Hangman and everything else, and it worked.
Isn't it?
I hope that's great. I hope JR keeps saying that.
No.
I hope they don't run it at Fight for the Fallen, which Callis initiated in the promo. I hope they don't burn it off there. I want it to last the summer until All Out, but either way, when we get it, we get it. I think Fight for the Fallen, depending on what happens with Omega versus Callahan and Impact at Slammiversary next week, that'll kind of set the table for where things may go, because it could be the first domino in the downfall of the belt collector run, if he were to lose that to Sammy, because then you have AAA on August 14th and then All Out, so that could be the 3-course there.
I'm ready for that to happen.
With Omega lose all the belts.
Yeah. Famous course.
I'm okay if they would do Fight for the Fallen with the match, but that can't be the burn off match. That would have to be something would have to happen in that match for them to warrant, okay, this feud's continuing. I need to see this end at All Out. I don't want it to be Fight for the Fallen. That's it.
I don't want Fight for the Fallen, Hangman lose some shenanigan way, and then you get All Out. If you're gonna do a double dip with these two and run it back like you did with Omega and Moxley, then let me get Hangman winning at All Out, and then Full Gear, I believe, is the next pay-per-view. Have him defended against Omega there, and then that be the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd much rather, like I said before, I'd much rather them not touch for a while, let that payoff come at a whole other point where it's going to happen on Dynamite where they get their hands on each other at some point, but let it go for a few weeks.
Yeah, let it burn the whole summer. Let the story burn.
Yeah. So that was one of my highs. The debut of Malachi Black, which we already touched on, really good. Enjoyed that.
Didn't see it coming.
Didn't see that coming.
Nobody saw it coming. WWE didn't update his non-compete. He still had the 30-day NXT non-compete instead of the main roster 90-day, and that's how he was able to appear 30 days after his release. So,
bet you that person got fired.
Well, I mean, apparently from reading everything through the week and the discussion and that, like, it happens way more often than what people think. It just so happened that you wouldn't expect it with somebody of his stature in NXT that gets moved up, or just NXT in general that gets released, where you would think he would be somebody that would get a 90-day automatic.
And you'd think, because it's one thing if he was just brought up and then released. So you could sit there and say, okay, he was only on main roster for a short time.
He was on the main roster for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years they didn't update it.
So that oversight's pretty bad.
Yeah. So that was a high. The low for me in the same segment. And this, I can't take credit for this because I saw this from the Blue Meanie on Twitter, and I agree with him. He said, I would have rather JR and Excalibur not mention his name at all.
Yeah.
And just let him come out and say, because if you follow him on Instagram, earlier in the day, he put out a 5-minute vignette, which was really good. I don't know who he produced it, but that was fucking well done. Yeah. Josiah Williams was in there, but and he says, I'm not Tommy N, I'm Malachi Black in his vignette, and he's breaking out of a psych ward and everything else. It was super dark, super good. If this is the direction that this character is going to take, I'm on board with where it's going. Similar to how like Moxley had the good vignette before he debuted, like when his countdown clock hit midnight and he put out that vignette, similar to what EC3 was doing with the Free the Narrative vignettes that he put out. Like, you can see when guys get time to be creative and be talents, like, they're fucking creative and can be talented. Like, don't overproduce them to the point where you're giving them a 5-page promo and everything else. Like, Bully Ray says it all the time, let the talent be the talent. So let them be talent. If they get over, they get over because they're talented. If they don't get over, then they're not talented to get over. And you move on to something else.
I wasn't a big Aleister Black fan in NXT or on the main roster, but I watched the video that he did. I think him being able to be creative for himself, I think will be a good thing for him. So I'm interested in seeing what they do with this Malachi Black character on AEW.
Yeah, so I kind of wish that they would have just let that simmer and not say anything, like Blue Meanie said. Andrade, Enjoy.
I like his look. I like whenever he comes out with the suit and the mask.
Coming out with the black mask from, yeah, I'm all here for that. He looked like he bulked up some too. Like, like he looked good. Seidel was a good first person to go into it. I know he's not somebody that you squash. You know what I mean, because of what he's done in his career. I think it was enough of a give and take in that match to still establish Seidel, but not yet make Andrade look weak in his first match. So that was done.
It was a decent 2-segment match. Yeah.
The main event, the street fight. I thought their match last week was better than the street fight.
I thought the porn stashes didn't return.
Yeah, it's whatever. But I don't know. It was, I don't know. Something just didn't. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Like I
think it was rushed.
They had a good street fight. It was just
that table spot was real decent. The thing destroyed the table.
And Penta just continues to hit Matt Jackson with ridiculous Canadian destroyers. Like we saw the one off the ladder, which was insane, and then this one, off the apron and through the table. Just, yeah. I mean, the Young Bucks are just fucking douchey heels.
Tax made me cringe.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Especially in the you got the whole front row right there ducking.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
That's something you could do in Jacksonville, not necessarily on tour.
Yeah.
I wish the crowd would have booed them more though. Like when they came out, you heard more. You still heard cheers for the Young Bucks, and it's like they're not. You don't cheer them now, and I thought they've done enough being the douchey heels and the fake homages to wrestlers in the past and everything else to get them full on booed, but they still got cheered. Hey man, we already covered. That was good. Britt, we covered. That was good.
Why did Carl Anderson get a promo?
To hype up the match with Moxley. That cross promotion, bro.
Moxley gets the promo. Why does somebody else on another company's time get promo on your air?
I mean, Moxley's off on parental leave right now. He's not going to.
You don't even bring the match up then.
What was wrong with the promo besides it was Carl Anderson and you don't like Carl Anderson?
It was an Impact guy on your network cutting a promo.
Oh, it's a New Japan guy cutting a New Japan promo for a New Japan title match that you're having.
Nobody comes on your network and cuts a promo from another company, even if it's New Japan or Impact. That's Moxley's spot.
So you're saying that you would have rather them done this following promotion is paid for by?
So wait, just so I'm clear on what you're saying, the promo itself, you didn't hate. It's the fact that
I didn't listen. I fast forwarded through. But you're not gonna come on my time and cut a promo against my
match.
Another company.
They're all working together.
They got to sell the match for next week. The Forbidden Door's open.
They're all working together.
It's not open to cut promos.
The Tonys cut a promo every week on Impact.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're all working together, yeah, you're going to do that. It's okay. Just like, hey, buddy, can I do this for
a title that's somewhere else, from somewhere else?
Look at Omega. He got titles from somewhere else, and they're on there.
But I do agree. I mean, I get Moxley's off right now, but they could have had him film a promo somewhere, like something quick.
All right. Anybody got anything else for Wednesday night?
The fan jumping in the ring.
Yeah,
it's like soon as fans come back, they want to do everything. Just like the NBA. Remember that?
So that fan on Twitter tagged Cornette in a post. It was like a Cornette stand to stand up for all of professional wrestling. And Cornette ended up shitting on him, which not that Cornette was sticking up for AEW. It was more Cornette sticking up for the businesses. Hey guys, don't do that. He said if that would have happened back whenever I was around and you would have came out, I'd have wrapped my tennis racket around your head.
Oh yeah.
So, like, guys, please, don't rush the ring. Don't try to get involved. Like, you will. Jericho cold clocked the shit out of him. That was a big boy because security was having a hard time getting him off the stage. But yeah, so overall, for those of you that watch both, so Chris, you probably can't answer this question, but Road Rager versus Great American Bash, which one do you want? Which one was better?
I enjoyed Great American Bash because I was more invested.
Oh, obviously you're a WWE stan.
I'll take the Road Rager because it was
so much for being objective on this podcast from Jay.
I watched. There was just none that just popped and said, "Hey, this is enjoyable." It's just wrestling.
Said it popped up. This is enjoyable. It was on your suggestions list, huh?
No.
All right.
All right, we got 1-1. Steve, what'd you prefer?
Me, I preferred Road Rager.
Good.
Vic Joseph just completely and not that JR calling Excalibur Mark on air by his government name was pretty classic. And then JR replying to a fan on Twitter that called JR out for doing it live on air is also pretty hilarious.
So if we're going match wise, not Vic Joseph, you're putting AEW over Great American Bash.
The 6-man and the main event were just as good, if not better, than the tag team match with MSK and Ciampa. Singles match wise, I'd have to go back and double check, but I don't think they had anything singles match wise that was on par with Cole and O'Reilly. Yeah. That would be my take. Thursday Night Impact, real quick, just a couple touch on some things. Obviously, we're building up the Slammiversary.
Week away.
Week away. My two big things. Obviously, the storyline with Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega. Don Callis being fired, Sami being arrested for beating up and assaulting Callis whenever it turned out to be Johnny Swinger and Johnny Bravo filming. Callis paid them too off to do it. So Sami comes back for the contract signing, takes out Omega, slams him through a table. They're off and running. That I got no problem with that. That's been a good build. What I really enjoyed, which has my curiosity tipped, and I'll be interested to see who it is. Gail Kim came out. Deonna Purrazzo ran through the women's division, says she wants some challenge. She wants some talent. Gail Kim came out, and Gail said, I'm retired. I'm not getting back in the ring. However, you will have a mystery opponent for the title at Slammiversary. And so I'm curious to see who that's going to be. If I'm a betting man,
find out at the pay-per-view.
Find out at the pay-per-view. If I'm a betting man, I'd say Chelsea Green.
That's my thoughts too.
But I would not be surprised if it's either it may be Peyton Royce or Billy Kay. Maybe them two coming in as a duo to also add into the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that. So that was Impact. SmackDown last night. Positive Pete. Roman, Edge, Usos, the storyline continues to just build. It's been really good. It was a thread throughout the show. Excellent, again, from a storytelling perspective. They added in Rey and Dominic to come back. So obviously that's going to set up, the Usos versus Mysterios. So that was tremendous. Love the storytelling there. Also, I'm gonna hop off the positivity because there's some negative things that are really just sticking out to me that just Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura have wrestled 5 consecutive weeks. 5 consecutive weeks. What are we doing? Baron Corbin now, he went from King Corbin now to he's a peasant. Pat McAfee had the line of the night last night. He said, Baron Corbin's hairline is, what he say, has been very disrespectful to the rest of his face or something like that. Like, it made Cole laugh live on air. It was tremendous. Shout out to him. He continues to be a highlight each and every week. He's getting into more of a groove, and it's just been, really good. But now Baron Corbin is now like, apparently he's broke now. His car got repossessed. Rick Boogs bought it at an auction. Now the bank's about to foreclose on his house. Yada yada yada. Oh, and by the way, if you're not paying attention to the rumor and tea leaves, WWE trademarked the name Happy Corbin.
I was going to bring that up too.
So we're going.
There's a foreshadowing.
Yeah. So now his name is going to change from King Corbin to Happy Corbin. But he looks like a bum who's broke and whatever.
You can work about a guy you don't like at all.
So next week, whenever they go for 6 weeks, then maybe he'll transition to Happy Corbin.
I'm not a huge Corbin hater like everybody else. I enjoyed Corbin in NXT. I enjoyed Corbin on the main roster. He gets the reactions he's supposed to get for the character that he plays. I'm fine with all that. They're very high on him within the company. Great, awesome. This is the shits. So I'm not happy with this at all. And then WWE, besides running the same match 5 weeks in a row, I don't care if you added the fight for the crown or whatever. We had debuts last night, and this debut falls flat just like it did with Tegan returning on NXT on Tuesday night. Oh, by the way, Tegan was one of the people that debuted last night. Although she's not Tegan Nox no more, she's just Nox. And Shotzi Blackheart isn't Shotzi Blackheart no more, she's just Shotzi. So she's Shotzi and Nox. Why the fuck can't we have two names? Why does everybody have to be
Vince doesn't like it.
Name?
Sounds good for a tag team.
Shotzi and Nox?
Yes.
Sounds terrible.
This ain't Tango and Cash.
Sounds terrible.
Sounds good for a tag team.
Sounds terrible. Nox? You don't call her Nox?
Sounds good for a tag team.
It's just so weird that Tegan came back at NXT to avenge her injury to Candice LeRae, and now she's
that's the weird part.
That was the other part that made no sense.
That was the weird part. I was like, okay.
So she's not. So she's on the main roster. She's on SmackDown, but yet she just cost the NXT Tag Team Champions the title. But there's going to be no follow up from that, or is she working both shows now? Like, what are we doing?
We'll find out this week, but she's probably going to work both shows.
Weird.
I
mean, you got Cross working main event. There's no hubbub about that.
I would have rather seen them wait and debut them for the draft.
Yeah, that's the main event.
Main event is you.
No! If this was Road Rager and Rampage and Mark and all
what are you talking about?
Nobody watches main events, so who cares?
Hey, listen, AEW Dark gets over 200,000 people watch it on YouTube. How many people watch main event? Not over 200,000.
You don't know. You don't pay attention to main event.
People didn't even know Cross worked on main event.
We bring it up every week. For like 3 straight weeks.
That's because we're good podcasters and we keep our fans informed.
We are experts.
We like to pick and choose here.
Pick and choose.
We don't keep shit across the board. We like to pick and choose.
Pick and choose what? That you can't have continuity in your booking. You have a girl return on Tuesday night and then she debuts on Friday night.
And if she's working both, that's continuity.
It's terrible. So she's Tegan Nox on Tuesday night, but she just Nox on Friday night.
Shotzi and Nox. She's still Tegan Nox. Just call her Nox.
Even Colin McAfee last night had trouble doing it. They were stopping themselves saying Tegan Nox, Tegan Nox, Shotzi Blackheart, Shotzi. Like, you're confusing your own commentators by having them call them one name.
She's still Tegan Nox though.
No, she's just Nox. She's not Tegan Nox.
You guys fall into this whole name shit. Matt Riddle been Matt Riddle since Matt Riddle.
No, it's just Riddle. It's not Matt Riddle. It's just Riddle.
I call him Matt Riddle. He's going to be Matt Riddle.
No,
I don't care what they have on the board.
Riddle. You're not even calling him by his right name. It's just Riddle because we can't have a first and last name, or we can't have two names.
WWE likes to say that they're like a soap opera. Maybe Tegan Knox is on NXT and her evil twin sister is on SmackDown.
Oh, okay. So that's like Brock Lesnar taking steroids for WWE, but not taking steroids for UFC. Oh no! That was just my gimmick in WWE. Okay.
Just terrible. And the debut fell flat. Like, yeah, oh my God, they won. They upset. They pinned the tag team champions. Oh my God, it was.
They should have saved that for next week with fans.
It's stupid.
How did it fall?
And then you get a vignette for Tony Storm.
Well, you want a vignette for Shotzi and Tegan?
How did we debut stars from the entire
Everybody
time
don't get a vignette, man. Everybody don't get a vignette.
So then how are you supposed to know who they are?
You just throw them on the roster. You mean everybody got a vignette coming up?
What are we doing?
Everybody got a vignette coming up?
Everybody should have something.
Yes, everybody should have something.
Unless, because WWE doesn't like to acknowledge NXT as much. So if you don't know NXT, how are you supposed to know these people when they show up?
Now, question for you guys. With Tony Storm, would you wanted to see her like a Rhea Ripley just like show up and ask for a title match right away like she did, or just the way she did it?
No, absolutely.
For how bad they've treated Rhea, no. I'd rather see Tony get some time.
All right.
Don't they still have a spot left in the?
They got 2 spots left. They got 2 spots left. So that means Carmella's going to get a spot back after she loses.
No. You'll have
Marine.
Sasha will debut on Friday night on the Go Home show, and she'll get put in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know who's going to get the last spot because I thought that they were going to build to Liv, which I think they were going to do, but they had to make a U-turn because Bayley got hurt. So that threw a wrench in that plan because I really think Liv was going to beat somebody again this week that got announced, and then next week she would get in and be deserving of getting the last spot is what I think that story would have been, which I would have been fine with that. But even that segment last night just felt off. Like I like Liv coming down and cutting the promo, and then Sonya was like, well, if you would have just let me finish, I was going to tell you that you're in Money in the Bank now. Carmella's out because she's fighting for the title, and then
I mean, well, you learned the day of or the day before,
right?
The whole segment. So
no, I get it. Like I said, they had to make a U-turn and make the best of a very bad situation, obviously. But yeah, just the way that the segment played out. Like I got no problem her bumping Liv and putting Liv in Money in the Bank and taking Carmella out because Carmella's getting the shot. I got no problem with that aspect of the segment. It's just the promos that were cut and how they cut them. Like it just didn't make sense. That whatever. It kind of is what it is at this point with that. So yeah, but SmackDown, that was. Next week, there's a fatal 4-way with all 4 members of SmackDown fighting each other 2 days before they fight each other again. Raw, Morrison and Ricochet are getting the same Corbin and Shinsuke treatment. They're wrestling again. Then, because we have, tag teams, we're going to split them up. So AJ is going to fight Eric, and Omos is going to fight Ivar, and it's like
sounds interesting.
Fucking trash. That's what it is. Fucking trash.
I'm be tuned in.
But you had me throwing my hat. I can't even. I'm throwing my own merch. That's how fired up
You're getting worked up over wrestling.
Out here like Bill Alfonso going crazy. I'm getting the whistle.
I'm getting worked up with your takes over wrestling. Couple other things. We already touched on Bayley being out 9 months. Paul Heyman was taken off talking smack.
Why?
So I don't know. It doesn't seem to be from what I read. It doesn't seem to be anything like it's not an adverse or a negative situation or whatever. So whether Heyman said he didn't want to do it anymore, I don't know. But Pat's been doing it the last 2 weeks, and it's been really good.
Okay.
So the thing is they don't know if they're going to continue to do Raw Talk and Talking Smack with going back on the road now. Fox doesn't want Talking Smack to air right after on Friday nights because they don't want the West Coast people to see that before SmackDown actually airs. So if they're going to continue Talking Smack, they'll wait till everybody clears the arena. They'll tape it live in the arena, and then it'll air Saturday like it's been doing.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's just logistics wise, and whether or not they continue to do those things going back on the road, we'll see how that plays out moving forward. But that was it there. I'm trying to think anything else.
I have something. WWE, I forgot to mention this last week, but they have a new hiring policy where they was looking for fresh young talent that's under 26 and like 220 pounds or above. But I just saw like this week that they're interested in signing Moose. And I was like, Moose is 37.
But Moose re-signed with Impact.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So they made a push to go after him, but those talks never really went anywhere, and he re-signed with Impact.
Okay. Scratch that then.
All right. Anything else? Best in the World, ROH's pay-per-view tomorrow night.
Yep.
Good card, good matches. Rush is going for, I believe it's over 500 days as ROH champion. So he's held the belt a long time. Now, granted, they had a lot of time off because of COVID, and they didn't run the whole time, but there's that. And
he's got to be up there with longest reigning champs in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a card. If you want to watch something that'll have really good wrestling in it, the ROH pay-per-view tomorrow night will be really good, I think, based off of what they've done since they come back. And then Walter and Dragunov 2 got announced for NXT.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, didn't see that.
Yes.
Ooh,
I believe it'll take place in two weeks, I believe they said.
Okay.
Yeah, so the rematch.
So they don't have fans yet, do they?
No, not yet.
It used to be a regular NXT UK show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
they haven't announced any takeovers or anything yet.
Okay.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, got a couple things on MLW. Tonight they're taping Battle Riot 3 at the ECW Arena. So I was originally going into this week, I was just like, is it on tonight? But they did announce yesterday that it's going to air Saturday, July 24th on BN Sports at 10 p.m. Then it'll follow up on YouTube, I think either later that week or the week after.
Now, are they live today?
They're not, no. It's just all tapings.
It's all tapings, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then MLW also announced this week that they're going to start developing a women's division, which will lead me just into a quick question to get you guys' feedback on it. Almost everybody has a women's division now. I know there's enough women's wrestlers out there, but are there enough quality women's wrestlers for each division to have a quality women's division, like for each show? Because now we have AEW, we have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, MLW, Impact,
NWA,
Ring of Honor, NWA.
Well, before people give their take, they brought in David Prazak to head up the women's division, and he's been the promoter that launched Shimmer, and which everybody knows has been one of the preeminent women's promotions around. So that's a really good move by Court Bauer. Court Bauer, man, like he got to start getting his flowers for what he does in MLW. He knows he only has certain talent for a certain amount of time. They were able to sign their big name cornerstone foundation pieces. The storylines and the starts and resets that they do with what they do with their talent has been great. The way he's been able to promote and get MLW out there with the moves he's made with beIN Sports, YouTube, international viewership. He knows pro wrestling and has just been making very smart moves. And has done a lot during a time when a smaller company like that may have disappeared. So shout out to him. People need to start giving him more flowers than what he gets on a regular basis right now. So
it's generally a consistent good hour program each week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But to circle back around to your question and not to take up too much time because we've been an hour deep on Bell to Bell already. Do I think there's enough talent to have a sustainable women's division in each of these companies? Yes, I do. Where I think is going to separate the companies on their women's division is how they use that talent.
Which is always a question.
Which is always a question. You know, people were bashing AEW for the longest time about their women's division, but if you really sit there and look at their women's division, they have a solid women's division. A lot of their women's division wasn't able to wrestle because of the pandemic and being from Japan. You know what I mean? So like they have their 4 to 5 women that are their 4 to 5 stalwarts, and then you're building up around them, and you see that with the emergence of like Layla Hirsch. Tay Conti has stepped up her game since she came over now.
Red Velvet. Anna Jay,
before she got hurt, looked like she was going to get a run. Jay Cargill, which, you know, so like you have those women that are starting to get built up, but then you also have your stalwarts. You have Sheeta, you have Britt Baker, you know, Riho, you have Nyla Rose. Like you have your staples and your foundation. You're building up around it. WWE Women's Division, that's been around a lot longer, obviously, but you have your foundation on both brands, and then you have, I don't know if you have as many women being elevated in WWE right now that you could see on the rise 6, 8, 10, 12 months from now as being somebody that's in the main event picture that you didn't think of before a push or a run.
Yeah.
You know, like AEW, I could see Red Velvet, or I could see Tay, you know, over the next year or so. Penelope Ford, maybe. You know what I mean? Like 3 people off the top of my head, where like Raw and SmackDown, you really don't have that to build up to. NXT does a better job at building up women through their division and you know, having people move up the spots in the ladder, so to speak.
It was Bianca on SmackDown whenever she came up, but nobody else since then.
Right.
Now you have Tony.
What's that?
Now you have Tony, but that's just one.
Well, yeah, but we got to see what they do with Tony. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, NXT does a better job at that than I think main roster, but that's just because, you know, more people come through NXT more regularly than they do the main roster. ROH is interesting because they're building, you know, women's division from scratch, like MLW. The knockouts have always been good in Impact, from my perspective. They've always had the strongest division. Yeah, going back to Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Madison Rain, all that. Gail Kim, Awesome Kong. Like a lot of the time, that was the best part of the show was the women's knockouts division. ADV, like that run helped keep Impact going for a long time.
For a while, it was the X division. Then after the X division started to cool off, it was the women's division that made
it was the knockouts. And now, like their division now, you got Deonna, you got Jordan, you got Rachel Ellering, you know, you got Emma. I can't remember her name now.
Fire Nice.
You got Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. Like you have women. You still have Rosemary. You still have Havoc. Like that have been there before. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it'll get there, but I think with as fans, what we can't do, and what you saw with AEW is you can't just shit on something that's being built from scratch and just starting out. You got to give it time. You know, AEW is coming up on 2 years now, and like from where it started, women's division, to now, it's been a gradual increase and change, and that's only going to continue to improve as you move through it. So will every roster be super deep? No, just because you're not going to have that many top tier women out there.
Yeah.
But I think enough top tier women are sprinkled out. Like NWA, you got Thunder Rosa does both. You got Camille, you have Melina, you have Taryn Terrell, like Mickey James. You know what I mean? So like you have these pockets of individuals sprinkled all over the place, and then with some of these women that got released from WWE, you can add them into the scene with these different companies, and it'll make for strong women's wrestling across the board. it'll just ultimately it's going to fall back on who they push, how they push them, who gets over, and if you can continue to build depth to where you can look and go, all right, we got 6 women that we can interchange at any point in time, but besides those 6, we got 2 or 3 down here that we can start to build up and get them to simmer. Like this issue with Bailey, she goes down and gets hurt. But you're looking depth wise, and it's like, all right, if Bailey doesn't get hurt, are they necessarily running debuts for Toni Storm? Are they going to bring up Shotzi and Tegan? You know what I mean? Like, because you release women and then one of your main stars gets hurt, what are you going to do for depth? You don't have.
Mm-hmm.
You had 6 women on the SmackDown roster, I think it was. You know what I mean? So I know I was long-winded and went on my Eric Bischoff 83 weeks, man.
One of the things I liked in the women's division this week was I like Lady Frost, Pittsburgh's own. She's been on NWA and then she debuted on Impact this week, so I'm glad to see them work their partnership a little bit too. So I am interested in seeing where MLW goes with this. I'm hoping they use undeveloped talent more, and that'll put some whenever they do develop the talent, it'll put some notoriety on MLW instead of saying, okay, Iconics went to MLW or Chelsea Green went to MLW. Let them develop the next generation of women talent wrestlers.
But you have to have 1, 2, or you have to have a couple that have some type of name value to start your division.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to.
I mean, a lot of what MLW did was because of no-name talent. I think if anybody could do it right, it would be them with not bringing anybody in. It helps to give them someone that has some talent.
I'm not saying you got to bring in. I'm not saying you got to bring in 5, but you got to have at least. I think you have to have 1 or 2 that has a name that you can go, okay, you know what I mean? Like you're the stalwart until we can build and elevate.
No.
Some people would look at AEW and go, well, they didn't do that. They had Rio as their first champion. But if you don't watch, women in Japan wrestle, you don't know that Riho and Shida and, Yumi Sukazawa and all those other people from Japan,
how long they've been doing it.
How long they've been doing it and the name value that they have over there. They don't have it here in the States. That was the difference with AEW. People are like, well, I don't know any of these women in this women's division is shit. No, it's because you don't watch other than what's in the States. So to you, yes, it looks like there's no name women and they're just throwing these people out there and putting a championship on a 95-pound woman. But Rio's been wrestling what? I don't know, 10, 15 years? What I mean?
At least, yeah.
So that's where I think the difference is. Looking at how AEW started their division compared to what ROH and MLW are going to do or are doing with their women's division.
Donald, Jason, anything on the women's division?
I think there's enough quality to fill out all the rosters in the different promotions. Like you said, they just have to find undeveloped talent in the indies and just build them up. Yeah. Again, build for the future. Just don't keep getting the retreads all over again. But yeah, I think there is.
I agree.
All right. I'm still hot over Jason's fucking take, so let's crack open a beer and drink.
Chug, 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 chug.
All right, this week's Drink of the Week segment is brought to you by, I don't know, just drink. That's what it's by. I can't think of that off the top of my head.
Brought to you by terrible bosses, because we all have them.
So this week we're doing the Brew Gentleman's Lao or
Lou. So this is based off of ALS. Some of the money goes to ALS research with the Brew Gentleman. So Lou Gehrig's disease, Lou beer.
Hey, listen, I enjoy drinking a beer, every now and again. But whenever I can drink, and I'm contributing to something for research on fighting a terrible disease like Lou Gehrig's disease, I'm all for that. So
that was the exact reason why I picked it up, just to give back with it.
Y'all set me up. That's right.
So yeah, it says in ales for ALS double IPA. Ooh, we'll see how this goes. Made with a blend of established and experimental hops. It is by Brew Gentlemen. They are out of Braddock, PA. It is 8% alcohol by volume.
Before I take a sip, and give it a 5.
Oh man,
you can smell the hops.
Wow.
Ooh, shit. Ooh.
That is a first.
Ooh.
That is a first.
Come on, man.
The drink of the week segment.
This beer's for the people. You can't negative react.
The beer's, I mean, the beer's not from my people. Those are people that came into town. Ooh.
I don't even know what to say to that. We might have to edit that out when we put out the video this week, Chris. I mean,
is it the experimental hops that you don't like, or the established hops?
It's for a good cause, man. You can't negative.
I'm not hating it.
I don't know why I get
It's very hoppy.
I get a grapefruit, not grapefruit, but it just has like that grapefruit effect when you first taste it.
For as strong as the hop smell was whenever I opened that up, and again, you know from listening and watching these segments each and every single week when we do this, I'm not an IPA guy by any means. With that being said, for as hoppy as that is, this has I want to say a smooth finish that is making it more enjoyable out of the IPAs that we've had. Broken Skull is still number one for me.
Yeah.
This though, I would put this. I would put this up there with probably fighting for 2 or 3 spot as far as the IPAs that we have tried. So I'm very surprised by how smooth that finish is off of that, given how hoppy it is with the smell.
I can't say that this would be one that I would want to drink over and over again. But for what it is, for how hoppy, I agree. It is a smooth beer. It is a smooth finish on that. It's not terrible. I think you have to appreciate IPAs, especially it being a double IPA.
Right.
You really have to like IPAs in order to want to drink this.
Yeah, and 8% alcohol. I mean, 8%. But yeah, that's I'm very surprised with how that's tasted. I didn't have Donald's reaction, but so we know Donald's going to give it a -2.
It gets a 0.5 just because it's from a hometown.
You can't even give it a 1 with part of the proceeds going to ALS. Jesus.
Fine, it gets a 1. 0.5 for proceeds, 0.5 for her hometown. So,
all right, Jay, what do you got?
I appreciate the thought and all that, but I'm gonna go with a 2.
Chris?
Definitely not my favorite IPA, but I think it's a drinkable IPA if you're a fan of it. I'm gonna go 2.5.
Hold on.
Calculating the math over there.
Yeah, hold on.
It's another 316.
Yeah. Yep.
33 is 16% chance of winning.
That's one of the greatest promos ever. So Lou Gehrig's best batting average was 361. I'm not going to go that high. I will put it above the Mendoza line at 2. Give me a. I'll go 299 here.
Okay.
So 299. Again, I think if you're an IPA drinker and an IPA lover, this would be right up your alley.
Yeah,
100% agree. This would be right up your alley. For not being an IPA guy, with it being a double and everything else, again, the smooth finish, and it is an enjoyable beer to drink for somebody that doesn't like an IPA. But I'm not searching out to get this because I don't drink IPAs. So. But shout out to them. Shout out to Brew Gentlemen. I would definitely try more of their stuff down there. They're not that far away from me, so may have to go down and see what else they have. But
they put any more of these types of beers out for money going towards some sort of research? I'd buy more of those.
No more beers for causes.
No, if you have any more beers for causes, let us know. Yeah, let us know if you have any beers for causes. Let us know. We'll have them on the show. We'll wait and review them and let you know.
Oh, of course, yeah, we'll rate and review.
Yeah,
how about we just buy them and show them on the show and just say, hey, it's for ALS. Let's not judge.
Hey, when it's your week, you can pick whatever beer you want.
Yeah, wait till we try some of the stuff you got coming up. Okay,
they got a March Downs beer,
Mr. Tipsy.
All right. With that being said, raise your cans, glasses, bottles, brown paper bags, shot glasses, red and blue solo cups, big ships and wood ships, and ships that sail the seas. But the best ships are friendships, and friends will always be. Salute to you. All right, this week in sports, couple just quick hitters, and then we can dive into a couple things. Talk in depth a little bit more. Soccer, football. Two big finals this weekend. Tonight we have Argentina versus Brazil for the Copa America Championship. There will be fans in attendance, which is kind of a fucking dig at Argentina, considering the tournament's been played in Brazil and there's been no fans throughout the entire tournament. But now that Brazil's in the final, they're going to let fans in the stand. So that is for what it is. If you enjoy fast-paced soccer, for all the yous that are out there saying, oh, it just ends in 0-0 or 1-0 or penalty kicks, watch this game tonight. This entire tournament has been nothing but attacking offense. Great goal scoring, and also you have two of the best players in the world playing against each other with Neymar and Messi going head-to-head in the finals. Tomorrow, I'll be waving my Italian flag while I sit on the couch and watch Italy against England in the Euros finals for that at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So good soccer here over the next 2 days. Anybody got any picks from either one of those two matchups, Argentina, Brazil, and Italy versus England?
I gotta go with Italy.
I don't watch.
I'll go with Argentina and Italy, because England shouldn't have even been in there.
Well, that's up for debate.
Man.
NBA Finals, we have Game 3 tomorrow night. The Phoenix Suns are up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks. Chris Paul looks like he may be getting a ring. The Bucks, Giannis? I got so mad at Skip Bayless on Twitter on the other night. Skip was tweeted out, typical Giannis performance, doesn't elevate his teammates, will give you MVP numbers but can't win a ring. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding, dude? It's one of the top 5 players in the NBA. Has won back-to-back MVPs. Put up 40 points a week later from severely hyperextending his knee. Kept that game within striking distance. He got no help. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday are just absolutely no-shows. Absolutely no-shows. They were 5 for 24 in the first half of that game the other night. And they're supposed to be your second and third best players. You're paying Drew Holiday $126 million. You traded away to get him in because you felt like he was such an upgrade over Eric Bledsoe. Chris Middleton, supposedly the Batman and Robin. It's like 5 for 24 in the first half between those two. I think Drew Holiday for games 1 and 2 in Phoenix, he's 7 for 35. total. 7 for 35. 5 for 24 from your starting backcourt in an NBA Finals game. Is that you're not even going to win a YMCA Rec League title with that performance. And these are shooting. These are what people are doing in the NBA Finals. Are you kidding me? And you're going to come after Giannis? Fucking Skip Bayless is terrible.
Oh, he is.
He's not worth the money he's paid. I couldn't believe it whenever I'm like, how are you going after? Of all the people, you're going to go after Giannis for
Like
what
I
he
said,
did in that game.
That's Skip Bayless.
You need that hot take.
That's it.
It's not even a hot take. It's being a hot shitty take.
Something to get a buzz.
If it ain't Brady for him or the Cowboys or Oklahoma football, it's nothing.
That says a lot about Skip Bayless right there. He's a famous Cowboys fan. What have they done for 26 years? And you walk around like every other typical Cowboys fan, sticking your chest out like you're the cock of the walk, and your shit don't stink. Fucking smells the high heaven over here. That's what it is.
Wow, hey.
He's still hot from bell to bell.
Sorry, Dallas fans. That's towards me.
I can't believe that bullshit ass take he gave. But Milwaukee has to win. They have to win. You got to win both games here.
Bucks in 6.
There's no way Milwaukee runs 4 in a row. Are you kidding me?
Bucks in 6.
Oh, what are you, Skip? You're just trying to get around out of me right now.
I don't watch. I'm just throwing out a take. Bucks in 6.
I mean, I know. They say like your bench players play better at home than they do on the road, and that's typical. That's typically the case, right? For whatever reason, I have no idea how that works out. But typically in basketball, your bench players play better at home than they do on the road. But your starters and your 2 out of your main 3 that are supposed to help carry the team, they can't not show up on the road. You'll lose 4-3 if you're able to get it to a game 7 because they don't play on the road. I just don't see it. Maybe they pick up the win tomorrow night, but I don't know. It's looking like Phoenix will get their first championship for the Suns. So,
all right, episode 46. Do we see Jason coming in looking like a genius?
First square.
Obviously, this is the last month without football until March of next year. So they announced training camp schedule for the Steelers here. Let you know what practices will be open to the public. So that's around the corner. So I'm excited for football season. Got fantasy football on the horizon. Getting ready for that. One quick note that I wanted to touch on before we dive into the UFC pay-per-view tonight, because that's to me, besides the 2 soccer matches that are going on this weekend, that's probably the biggest sporting event, given the way the first 2 games of the NBA playoffs shook out. But we talk about women's sports on here a lot and how, what can they do to get the recognition and everything else, and some of the slights that have happened to them going back to the NCAA tournament with the women's setup compared to the men's and everything else. The women's College World Series softball versus the men's College World Series baseball. Some stuff that came out this week, right? Tournament average viewing for men's college baseball World Series game was 755,000. For the softball tournament, women's at 1.2 million. The most viewed game for the men's College World Series was 1.7 million, and the most viewed game for the women's College World Series was 2.1 million. So the women outshined the men in both categories there, as far as average viewership as well as who had the highest viewed game. Overall, I watched both tournaments, and overall, I thought that the women's College World Series of softball was way more entertaining and exciting than the men's baseball, which was not shocking to me, but typically I really enjoy the men's college World Series a lot. But the women this year, the baseball, the games, the stories, the performances, the individual players, like you saw an all-time great team that did something that no other team in women's college softball had done previously. So like you had all these things come through, and it just made for an exciting tournament. But yeah, for all those that say, hey, women's sports aren't as enjoyable, and I know softball and baseball is the same, but that's as close as a comparison you're going to get for those sports. I put the women above the men.
To me, softball is more enjoyable than baseball.
Yeah,
like watching. So.
Man, and I love baseball, but softball, I love it. The atmosphere seems a lot better too.
Yeah. Even whenever I was in college, the women's softball team always brought in more fans than the men's baseball team.
Hey, it happened in high school with us.
Yeah.
The girls softball team was a lot better. We had a lot more fans than we did.
Yeah. Baseball All-Star break, All-Star weekend. The weekend of Shohei Ohtani. He hit another fucking moonshot last night. He hit a piss rocket so far last night. That ball still didn't land. He's up to
2 foul tips.
33 home runs by the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
Most home runs.
Impressive.
Most home runs by a Japanese player before the All-Star break. I think most home runs by a pitcher in a season, obviously. So yeah, this upcoming week for Shohei, you have him. He's in the home run derby Monday night, so he could win the home run derby Monday night. He should be the starting pitcher. If baseball would learn how to market and promote their sport properly, should be the starting pitcher in the All-Star game Tuesday, and he's also voted in as a position player, so he's also going to bat. So realistically looking at this, depending on how the All-Star game shakes out Tuesday night, but he could win the home run derby on Monday. Tuesday, he could start the All-Star game, be the winning pitcher, and also has a chance at being MVP of the All-Star game itself.
If he's starting, I'm only throwing in 1 inning.
Well, I think most they throw is 2. I don't think they go more than 2.
Yeah. That's normally why they have a lot of pitchers on the roster. Yeah,
especially now because it's not like back in the day All-Star game where you only had like 7 pitchers and 4 starters and 3 relievers. Like they have a ton of pitchers now. So
yeah,
like after they had the tie, whatever year that was in Milwaukee, they expanded the roster so that way you didn't run out of pitchers. But yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna market properly based off of this, what you have going on this weekend for him. To build a star, like I don't know what you're doing, baseball. I have no idea what you're doing, MLB. Like none at all. I'm gonna be tuned in. I'm gonna watch the home run derby.
Oh, I'm watching everything.
I don't know if I watched the All-Star game.
I'll watch the game.
Kind of fizzled out for me. The whole this matters for World Series.
See, I hate that stipulation. I hate that. I really do. An exhibition game should not determine who gets home field in the World Series.
I think there should still be stakes, so you're like forced to play, but not have like stakes in the season, like maybe money or something.
Yeah, more money.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah,
home run derby is always enjoyable though.
Yeah,
especially with this new format.
Yeah. So the new format, the matchups, it'll be good.
Is Judge in it?
No, I forget what they showed the tournament. Yeah,
I keep seeing a commercial with him on it. I'm like, why are they even showing this commercial with him?
There you go, promoting. You're not even promoting somebody that's
you're promoting the right guy.
So
just promoting the injury.
Yeah. Tonight, UFC 264, McGregor Poirier 3 is on. The main card obviously is main evented by McGregor and Poirier. You have Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson, Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho. I probably pronounced that wrong. Greg Hardy.
Greg Hardy.
Yeah. So that's the main card. Carlos Condit is fighting on the prelims.
Name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. So, McGregor Poirier 3. Any predictions? Who you got? Poirier, I believe, is a favorite right now, based off of the knockout he had of McGregor a couple months ago. Whenever they had the round 2 of the title or of the series matchup. Thoughts?
It seems like Connor's more focused now than he was before, so I'll give it to him.
Not that this is going to hurt Connor's legacy as far as what he's done, but to me, this is a make or break fight for Connor. Either you're still good enough to be in the game, or the game has passed you by, and you can have your one-offs like Anderson Silva had, but you're not going to be a main guy no more.
Either way, if he wins or loses tonight, do you think he should continue on?
Yeah, I mean, if he wins, yes, absolutely. And they said whoever wins this fight will be in line for a title match. So yeah, absolutely. But if you go in there and you get knocked out again, and you get destroyed from an MMA perspective, like he got taken out. His last fight versus Poirier he got demolished by an MMA fighter, not just a stand-up boxer, not just a wrestler. Like, he got picked apart, which has kind of always been the knock on McGregor, right? It's like, you're not a true MMA fighter because of whatever. I don't believe in that, but he got picked apart. I mean, he couldn't block the leg kick. He wasn't able to put any weight on his leg come the second round, and then that caused him not to be able to throw anything, and it put him on the back as far as defensively, and he got knocked out for it. Like, it was what it was. So,
I agree with you, because that was the whole point of why MMA and UFC started in the first place, is that it's supposed to be a blend of styles. Not necessarily well-rounded style. You're going to see the jiu-jitsu versus the box or whatever.
Hey, drop me out for a sec.
If you get knocked out, Vince is on the other line.
Vince ain't on it. Becky's on it too.
They've been teasing that for how long now?
Yeah.
They want him in. So they've used Fury. They've used who else? Who's the other guy?
Took on tall guy that. Damn, I forgot. Ray's Dominic's stepfather.
Oh yeah, Bum. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Names escapes everybody. That's a
Yeah.
But to me, like that stuff never like really went anywhere.
Cain Vasquez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they even did Logan Paul this year, and just like it didn't do anything for them. I didn't think, but I think Connor could bring something to the table if they would use him properly.
You see Nunez and the other guy there last night at AEW.
Yeah, which really shocked me that they didn't get involved. But.
Yeah. Not saying that it was foreshadowing, but it's still,
I was good without that.
Yeah, we forgot to bring that up in Bell to Bell, and whenever he started running his mouth, and then they came out, I was like, oh, like I'm surprised Nunez isn't stepping in or anything, because I thought that's where it was going to go, that Nunez might step in the ring with somebody female, But
who was that? The guy?
I didn't know him.
Masvidal. He's the guy who fought. He just fought Kimura.
No, the guy who was talking.
Oh, the guy
that's talking. Wow. He's the head of America Fight Team. So whenever Lashley was involved in all that, was involved in MMA, he used to show up on Impact all the time with Lashley. So it's not unusual for him to actually be involved in some wrestling, but
that was one.
I didn't have nothing else for sports.
I just one thing I did see, I completely forgot. Who was it? Fury and Wilder is getting rescheduled to October 9th because Fury caught COVID.
Yeah, his whole camp caught COVID.
Okay, yeah.
Initially reports were 9 of his camp members caught it, and then it came out that he tested positive as well. So it was supposed to be on July 24th in 2 weeks, but obviously that's getting postponed. So
they're saying October 9th now.
Okay. Big thing this week, NHL. Tampa Bay won back-to-back Stanley Cups. That's pretty good for them. That's their third Stanley Cup in a number of years. So
they were $80 million over the salary cap. They bought a Stanley Cup. They fugazied. They fugazied.
Same could be said with the Buccaneers for Super Bowl this year.
Tampa Bay wasn't over the salary cap. $80 million. Like they were still within the parameters of the salary cap. Did they get people to take less money and everything else? Yeah, absolutely. Like you can't be mad at what they did down there, Buccaneers wise. Like, and I'm not. It sounds like me hating on Tampa Bay, but they found the loophole in the rules. They attacked the loophole, and it got them back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. So, I mean, I'm not going to be mad at it. It is what it is. But again,
Tampa and championships. You know Hogan's coming.
All right, that's it for sports. Let's move on to fucking one gotta go. All right, we're gonna go to one gotta go. Don't we need even more up here? Let's go.
All right, before we get to this week's actual game, I just wanted to. Last week, I ended up throwing the one gotta go ice cream chains like on social media. Did some Instagram, did some Twitter. Cold Stone Creamery was the people's choice for one gotta go to get out there.
I was correct. Get rid of that gummy bear bullshit.
Wait a minute.
The people are speaking, Jay, you're wrong, as usual.
Was this on Twitter? I gotta go defend the Cold Stone.
Yeah, voting ended 3 days ago. Pay attention to the show.
All right, so this week's game, with Black Widow coming out and with Loki ending this week, I went with something Marvel. We're gonna do one gotta go of all 4 Avengers movies.
So this is the most easiest one of all time.
I know which one Donald's gonna say because he fucking hates time travel. So he's gonna go with Endgame.
Donald, start us off.
Go ahead, Donald.
Of course, the one that everybody loves was the most disappointing one. Avengers Endgame. The fuck out of here. Negative Nancy all the way. I hate that movie. I don't even know why it's up here.
Because it's all the Avengers. Jay?
I don't even know where that. I'm gonna just go Avengers, man. I don't know. I can't even think of a reason.
Just gonna knock the first one off.
I watched them all. That's the last one. I can't remember that far back. So sorry.
Wow.
Damn, the one that started it all, and you're knocking it off.
Hey.
I'm gonna go
with little Chimera and all that jazz. I'm just throwing out. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, yeah, gotta go. All right.
The movie that made me actually try shawarma. My least favorite out of all of them is Age of Ultron. So Age of Ultron, that can go for me.
Really?
Yeah, I was not a fan of that movie.
So I enjoyed that. That tugged at your heartstrings.
Yeah, I mean, I know Infinity War and Endgame are 2 separate movies, but to me, it's like one long movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Endgame may have like, and you know, when Captain America, when everybody starts coming back, and you see Doctor Strange, and you hear Sam say on your left, and he comes flying in, and everybody comes out, and then you hear Cap say Avengers Assemble, and you get like, I still get goosebumps hearing it. But from a movie perspective, I don't know if I would say that's like the best or most enjoyable movie from start to finish. To me, I liked Infinity War better than Endgame.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Age of Ultron is underslept as far as movies in the MCU go. Damn, I honestly don't even know really, because it's like if you get rid of one, like getting rid of one of these doesn't make the series better or worse. Like you're not going to throw one of these movies out and go, okay, if you take, like we brought up Lethal Weapon earlier. If you take out Lethal Weapon 3, is the Lethal Weapon franchise better with 1, 2, and 4? Like it's not going to improve the series, if you take one of these off the list, they're also interconnected and all. Just because we have to get one off the list, I'll go with Endgame. Out of these four.
What would make that movie better if they just scrapped the whole time travel issue and just had the beginning and the end and scrapped the middle? It would have been a perfect movie.
I didn't like the 5-year jump.
And then again, for the fans, they lost. Real-time Thanos beat them. Sorry, spoiler alert for people who didn't see them.
It's been plenty of time.
Yeah, they beat a past version. That don't count. You lost.
We could have an episode just dedicated to Donald's hatred of Endgame.
Or time travel.
Yeah. And more on that next week. If we're going to discuss Loki next week, or are we going to wait another week for that?
We'll wait another week. Wednesday night's the last episode.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll hold off 1 week.
All right.
All right.
Anything else?
Final thoughts. Let's go.
All right, kids. Thanks for tuning in to episode 45 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then like and follow our social medias at Dumb Marks Pod. We're live every Saturday on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So make sure that you like all our channels and you get alerts when we go live every week. And of course, our audio-only edition is available every Monday on all your favorite podcast platforms. And make sure that you head over to prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod to buy our merch. We got 3 different shirts. We got the logo, After Dark, and our One Gotta Go t-shirt.
Yes, sir. Final thoughts for me, just running through some couple quick hitters here. And you guys may have brought this up whenever I jumped off in sports, but the XFL and CFL ended talks. So they're no longer in the negotiations. And also the XFL came out that 2023. So they were supposedly launching next year, 2022, but that has been pushed back a year. So 2023 for the XFL relaunch. WWE and Rolling Loud announced this week that they will be teaming up for some type of collaboration. I don't know if your thoughts on this. To me, I don't really get it, but it is what it is. I
feel more bad for the people that are in Cleveland that night for SmackDown that are getting the shaft a little bit on some matches.
Yeah, so we'll see with that. Scott Hansen, for those of you that watch the NFL Red Zone channel, he signed a multi-year deal to continue hosting the NFL Red Zone. So the guy that's been doing it since day one re-upped his contract, so he'll continue to host that. And what else did I have? Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, Mandy Rose, and Montez Ford now all have endorsement deals with C4 Energy.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, we talk about third-party ventures for talent and, the whole Twitch and everything else, which led to Zelina Vega being fired, but ultimately brought back and received a public apology from the company for that. So yeah, they're getting, individuals are working on deals, but I'm sure this is WWE approved. Because
I'm sure they're getting a cut from it.
They sent out the press release. So, but it's just interesting of those 4. You know what I mean? Like I get Roman and Bianca, but Mandy and Montez. Not saying that Montez or Mandy aren't,
Mandy has a look.
Names. I know.
Mandy's big on social, so
yeah.
that's probably why. Being an influencer.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Uso was arrested for DUI July 5th. The Monday after the 4th. He obviously was on SmackDown last night, and there hasn't been any word of any ramifications or anything being changed from how they're going to go forward here. I remember
any previous time they've basically said that's his personal business. So.
Well, no, because they took the titles off of him the last time. They were tag team champions whenever he got the last DUI, and they took the belts off him.
But there was like he had to go to court for that. I think that could have been why. We're not sure if he's going to court for this one.
See, that deal was a negative for me too, because I watched that. It just felt weird watching it.
Yeah, I mean, he himself last night looked a little, I don't want to say despondent, but like, just didn't really look like how he has been the last couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll see if anything else changes with that moving forward. And then I don't know if this is real or not, but I sure hope the hell it is. But Marvel versus DC post on Facebook showed a graphic or whatever for Deadpool 3 as being announced for 2022. I haven't heard anything from anywhere else, so I'm guessing this may be a fugazi, a little fake he put out there. But the poster
approved it.
The poster itself looks great. I know they approved Deadpool 3, but I haven't heard anything as far as
we want to do anything coming out or anything.
Yeah, like haven't heard any of that. I know Ryan Reynolds is co-writing it and has a lot of influence on it. So, and it will be R-rated, so it's not going to lose anything from that. But the poster itself is pretty great. It says from the studio that killed Thanos twice, Deadpool 3, and it's him with his head on Cable's shoulder, with lettering above it that says "You look like Thanos." And then Lady Luck's next to him, and at the bottom, instead of saying Marvel Studios, it has "lame" written over Marvel, so Lame Studios. So,
yeah, I saw that poster. I think it's a fake, but yeah, I think we'll be seeing that movie sooner rather than later too.
Yeah.
One last thing I have is Nintendo Switch OLED was announced this week, and it comes out October 8th. At $350.
Not worth it.
No.
And the only thing it has is just a bigger screen, some better speakers, a more flexible, bigger stand.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it. And it has a wired Ethernet LAN port in the dock. So
if that dropped the prices to the original Switch, I'm all for it.
So Nintendo Switch, welcome to the 21st century with an actual Ethernet port.
Yeah.
Finally.
So yeah, they had been teasing the Pro, so this is, I guess, what that was, but
there's going to be no 4K at all.
This should have just been an upgrade to the Switch and eliminate the older model.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this should just be the Switch that's out there.
Yeah,
right.
So you're not going to get anything new Nintendo-wise system until their next system, whenever that is.
It's the handheld OLED.
So this is it. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They did announce they have the Switch Lite, so they didn't announce any OLED version of that or anything.
No.
But I'm sure that'll come at some point, maybe next year.
Yeah. So this Switch coming out is eventually going to replace the Switch that everybody has now.
Yeah.
That's going to get phased out.
The thing I really liked out of it was the stand, because the stand that's built on the Switch now, just a little, little kickstand to this is a little bit better. I think that's what they should just do for all the models.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Final thoughts wise?
Just had one thing from wrestling again. It looks like they didn't say which network Stephanie McMahon's meeting with, but she's supposed to be meeting with one of the networks, whether it's Fox or NBC. Apparently, they have some ideas that they want to pitch to them.
Yeah, for theme/special shows. Mm-hmm. So that plays in part with the rumor that WWE a la what AEW does with their specials, Road Rager, Winter is coming, all those that you're getting, which you'll get on a quarterly basis moving forward with AEW once the new year starts. WWE is looking to do the same type of thing, and they're going to, like you said, Stephanie's going to meet to hear pitches with stuff. So is there anything that you would want to see come back to the main roster as a special goes for WWE, whether it's Raw or SmackDown?
Great Balls of Fire.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing the Raw Roulette come back. I enjoyed those back in the day.
Yeah.
Um,
If they would actually do a decent special of it again, I'm all for King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring. But I want to see like a legit tournament, not just all
so like, do you want? So you want like actual like type like special type deals like that? Like whether it's how NXT did Halloween Havoc and they just did the Great American Bash.
Yeah.
Like you want to see specials like that, or do you want to see like how I brought up like Raw Roulette or
I'm okay if it's
Cyber
not
Monday,
on Raw.
Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah.
what's that?
Cyber Monday, Taboo Tuesday, stuff like that.
Yeah, like what Cyber? That was the ones where the fans voted on the matches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I could see stuff like that come back.
I'd like to see it be both rosters, but like, I don't know where you'd put the finals, whether it's on a pay-per-view or on do it like an actual special on the network or on Peacock, whatever. But I just don't want it to be like the jobbers on it. I actually want it to be like it used to be in the 90s, like where you actually had talent vying for the King of the Ring.
Well, I mean, the King of the Ring was
Your next guy, right?
Was the launching pad, just like how the Intercontinental title used to be. So, you had Brett win it, you had Stone Cold win it, Mabel won it, King Booker.
So like when like William Regal won it, whenever Wade Barrett won it, whenever Baron Corbin won it, it wasn't a good field of talent. You're looking.
No, but I didn't mind the Wade Barrett thing. I enjoyed the Bad News Barrett a lot better than.
Oh yes,
yeah.
But I mean,
because that's the one thing I don't ever need to see is them actually become the King gimmick. Booker T hit it out of the park. Like as much as I didn't want to see it, like he won me over with it. But you don't need to become a king. Like I know they did it with Bret Hart, like for like the day he got the robe and everything, but so many of them just didn't do it.
I mean, they even did. I mean, they put the robe on him, and then Lawler debuted, and he stomped on the crown, and they were off and running on their feud. I think if you do it kind of like how, like in the same vein of like Austin or even Owen, you know what I mean, where like it's a notch, it's a launching point, it's a pad, it's a resume builder that says, okay, this is going to be a guy.
Yeah.
And you go from there. If you're just going to do it to have it for them to turn into King Corbin or King Woods or
I don't need that.
Nakamura. And I don't see them bringing King of the Ring back based off of what they've done with Nakamura now. Like he's already transferred over because he had won the crown in the battle for the crown. So yeah, whatever.
My favorite was whenever 2002 Brock won it and was guaranteed a title shot. I thought that's how they should just kept moving forward with it, and it just ended up being the last King of the Ring for a while.
Now, would you mind if they did half NXT, half regular guys?
No, I'd be okay with that.
No, if you're looking for something to draw excitement, then shuffle the deck and do something like that, where you have a King of the Ring tournament. Half of it is main roster guys, half of it's NXT guys, and let's go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Whether if an NXT guy wins, then he gets a Raw or SmackDown contract of his choosing, and he can pick which brand he goes to. If a main roster guy wins, then he can switch brands or he can challenge for whatever. Like I don't want it to be where you're kind of defeating the purpose of Money in the Bank, but yeah, don't just have the winner turn into the next king, whatever their name is.
Yeah,
that's been over and done with, and we don't need that anymore.
Even Edge, whenever he won, they gave him a trophy, so that was at least something different than doing the king gimmick. Not that I want the trophy, but
was Sheamus even King Sheamus?
Yeah,
he was.
Not Sheamus. Yeah, King. Yeah. He had like the Celtic crown.
Remember he had that. I don't remember when we called King or nothing.
Yeah, he had the green robe.
Yeah.
I don't know if they necessarily called him King Sheamus, but he did the gimmick. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Final thoughts wise? All right. With that, to wrap up and end the show this week, I say to you, whatever you do today, do it with the confidence of a 4-year-old in a Batman T-shirt.
Just piss me off all day.
Hey, You're a Mark. I'm a Mark. I'm a Mark. And until
Very
next time,
AEW of you.
you can catch us around the way.